All right. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with another exciting Kickstarter, which we have been following over in the our weekly comic book roundup. And uh, tonight we have Shane Moore, who's my hopefully good friend and local creator. He's back again. It was about a year ago that uh, not since we last talked, because just talked maybe a couple months ago about the anthology that he was a part of. The
Hmm.
bridge that eats trucks, that's still eating trucks and campers. I guess it's moved on to campers now.
I think the camper was there's a bridge close to it that does that.
No, I think there's a it got a camp. The
Oh,
actual bridge got a camper already too.
okay. All right. I can't keep track. Of,
it, it, when it happens every other day, then you know. But we're not here to talk. Well, we can talk a little bit about that, but we're here
sure.
to talk about his latest project, the second issue of My Name Is Lady. So for those of people who may not have seen it or heard us talk before, first off, tell us a little bit about yourself and um, your journey as a comic book reader and creator.
Sure. All right. My name is Shane. I am like you, Chad, originally from West Virginia.
We got out.
That usually comes up. Um, I have been living in upstate New York for almost 15 years. Um, I have been working on projects, comic projects, since 2010. And last year, I did a Kickstarter for the first book that I wrote on my own. Also, my first color book, which was called My Name is Lady, issue 1. And the Kickstarter that I'm promoting right now is for My Name is Lady, issue 2.
So for people who may not have seen our interview, tell us a little bit about the book, the overall story um, of My Name Is Lady.
Um, so the first issue, you meet this woman, Laura. She's 29 years old. She's moving back to her hometown to be closer to her family. Her grandfather had just died, and she moves in to be a caretaker for her 95-year-old grandmother. And Laura learns some secrets about her grandmother that will also affect her own life. And without giving away too much of the story, this is a world where superheroes exist. So the main story is about growing old and adult relationships between family, loss of identity, those types of things, but with a superhero theme.
So, what was the inspiration behind the story?
Uh, I was originally inspired by the family that I married into, my wife, and her generations of strong women, uh, also having to deal with family members, you know, getting older, um, confusion, that types of thing. And at the same time, I pitched this idea of a superhero comic about a character. You know how like every like male superhero has like a female version, like Batgirl or Supergirl, that type of thing. I wanted there to be kind of like an early on character that didn't have, like, she wasn't a female equivalent of something. She was her own thing. So that's what I was going for.
And is the hero in the story based off of And yeah, you said it was based off your wife's family, but is anybody in particular, or is it kind of like an amalgamation of
Yeah, it's sort
everybody?
of a blend of like, older relatives of my own. My wife's grandmother kind of went into decline when I first moved up here, and I kind of saw that as it was going, and how that affected her and everybody else. That was kind of the inspiration for the story. So also, like, not just that, but like, if you think about, like, I think a lot about like Stan Lee and Nichelle Nichols, those types of like, I'm gonna say like convention characters are kind of like maybe strung out a little bit longer than they should have been,
Mhm.
But that's going to be a little bit later on in the issues. I don't want to say too much.
Sure, definitely. I don't want you to give anything uh, too much away about the story. So, how did the you know the campaign for the first issue kind of wrap up? Being a year ago, obviously it did well as you're running a second one.
Right. No, this is last year went well. We made our goal. It was a little bit longer than this one. I decided to do 3 weeks, and last time was 30 days. And I thought I would give myself less of a grief, because the kind of the time in between a Kickstarter like really draws out. So I was like, yeah, if I chop a week off it, it'll be less stressful, and that has not been the case. This this has been the longest 2 weeks of my life, and I've got another week left. I've talked about this a lot lately, that like running a Kickstarter is like one of the hardest things, just kind of like waiting and waiting and waiting and double checking, spending a lot of time on social media. Yeah, it's hard.
Were there any things that you learned from running the first one, or even the other campaigns that you were involved in that you kind of tried to apply to this one?
Well, I mean, like what I said, I did try to streamline it a bit, and there was a couple of things that when I did a graphic novel before all this, and it was just the graphic novel and only one cover. And so this issue 1 was the first time I did like alternate covers. In an effort to get people to, like, if you're not interested in one or the other, some people want both, like, just to kind of like raise funds, and the funds that I'm normally raising are not, this is everything I do myself. So I'm not looking to like get paid. I'm looking to pay for like printing costs and things like that. So this issue, I'm hiring a colorist. So there's some money that I'm asking for, a little bit more than I did last time.
So who is
Go ahead.
so who is the colorist, and how did you kind of get connected with them?
I had made a connection on Facebook with a woman in Brazil who had like a good rate, and I liked her work. And I did kind of a couple samples, sent that out, and I was happy with what she did, so we kind of continued that. Seemed very nice.
And this is the first issue that is in color, correct?
Issue 1 was in color, and I did that myself.
Okay.
So I had, like, I know how long it'll take me to do color. I technically can do it. I think other people probably would be better at it than I would. So I was trying to get the book out quicker, and at the same time, like, working on 2 really inspired some ideas for 3 that I was looking to quicker 2 comes out, the sooner I can start working on 3.
Right.
So
not and please don't give anything away, but is this, how many issues are you hoping to do this?
I had always planned this in my head as like a 6-issue like arc. And so like then the main story of it all, like all the secrets will be revealed after 6. So
okay.
Maybe 7. I'm not sure. Also, there was I had written a story with these characters, kind of like as like a tester, as part of an anthology a few years back, and I placed that story not quite at the beginning, so it actually will land in between 2 and 3. So that was in black and white for the anthology. It was 2 parts, and I'm hoping if we raise enough money to release that in color as like a bonus book,
Definitely. So what, if anything, did you learn from doing the first book that you were able to do better, more efficiently for issue 2?
So when I started working on issue 2 after issue 1, like I mentioned the color part of it, like color. Some people are probably, it's easier for them than it was for me, but it was almost like starting over, like like you get your inks done and then you're it's like drawing the whole book over again. So the idea of having somebody else do that was appealing. I also did a lot more planning out the issues. At least I knew kind of the beats and things that I wanted, and I definitely know how the story is going to end. But I pitched kind of a general 6-issue pitch planned out. So hopefully, like 3 will be easier, 4 will be easier as they go. But
no, I get what how you're hoping it'll go.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're doing it all by yourself, you kind of I hope it does turn out well. I think it's a pretty good book. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far.
So for this campaign, it sounds like you're offering a little more, but what are the campaign level or the reward levels that you are have for people who to potentially back the project?
Sure. So it starts at $10 for a PDF, and it goes up to, I believe, $125 for the highest tier. Like I said, I have 2 covers available. We have issue 1, so if you are new to this, like, you can get everything. And each, you can get 4 covers. I have that as an offer, like 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s. I have add-ons of the Omens graphic novel if you want that. Digital for the first time, I'm offering that. You can get both issues of My Name is Lady and the Omens, I believe is $30. My goal is $1,500, and I have a stretch goal of $2,000. If we make that, I will offer. No, I won't offer. I'm going to print that 2.5 and would give that out to all the backers for free.
Nice.
So, not free. They paid for it already. So.
Yeah, included in their
complimentary, rather.
So I assume you're still, working digitally with
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Any learned any new tricks or shortcuts that have helped you in the process?
Uh, I mean, there have been upgrades to the program that certainly have helped things as they go, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm not like deadline driven, so I'm not purposely trying to do the quickest like drawing that I can.
Hmm.
Um, but certainly, like, I know I know when I'm working in a certain rate, if I'm working on it every day, like I'll reach a point where, like I have a job during the day and I have kids during the day and, you know, but like I'm often like at my kids' taekwondo class drawing half a page and then coming home and finishing that page that night. Like, like a, I refer to it as a flow state or like a high volume state. I don't know if that has anything to do with the trick or anything like that, but like, especially if I've set a deadline for myself, you know, I'm
I
desperate to
understand.
get 2 done so I can work on 3. That
Good.
but,
So, as a, for the writing, I guess, and art part, who are, the creators that kind of inspire you or, their work challenge you to push, your boundaries or try something new?
oh boy, that's a tough question. Um, I don't try to like emulate anybody, but
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Like, like when I see Mike Magnolia's work, I'm very inspired to make work. Guy Davies, I love um, Robert Kirkman, like Invincible and Walking Dead were like a big part, like that run. That was like the reason I was going to the comic book store. Um, and also like Invincible's idea of like it's all very familiar because they're like kind of different takes on existing superheroes,
Right.
but not in a parody way,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I get what you're saying. So, are you, currently reading anything that you're enjoying or, you know,
um what did I read? I read Battle Beast
hmm,
the other day. I like that one. I like going to the comic book store and just picking something out for my kids, or having them pick something out. I Clark was reading a Spider-Man the other day, and I picked it up and read about half of that, and I was like, I mean, I haven't been current, but like, you know, or he got a what was it, a Superman in Cumberland Farms the other day, and he's kind of like he was reading it to me in the car. He's like Superman just got killed in this first issue, and I was like, I mean, that happens sometime, like
it gets better.
yeah. In comics, like something extreme will happen in the first issue, and this guy will go back in time, or stop that, like
It's a dream.
right, it's a dream, that type of like. There's all kinds of scenarios where. But,
So, are you getting out and doing any shows?
was that last weekend? I was at um, a convention in Kingston at the Dutch Church, and I was there with Doug Arthur. We shared a table and we sold some Bridge Truck comics, and I passed out a lot of cards for the Kickstarter. I went to Stillwater Comic Con yesterday as an attendee and talked to a few people. My kids took a Jedi training class. I don't have much sign up for. If Electric City Comic Con happens, I'd like to go to that. I think it is, but I haven't heard anything yet. And
Me neither.
oh, really? Okay. Stillwater, not Stillwater, Cohoes Library Comic Con. I did sign up for that. There was a couple independent book conventions that I've applied to, but I haven't heard anything yet. So usually when this is over and the comic shows up, then I'll be like, oh, I gotta get out there a bit, you know. But I've really kind of been locked in and, you know, trying to get things finished. So
No, I completely understand. So, anything else that you want to mention about the campaign or the book that we maybe didn't cover?
The campaign has I'm not sure when this will be on, but as of right now, it's Sunday, and tomorrow will be 1 week left, and I've got more than a third left to raise. So if you're interested in, like, now's the time, I guess. Or if you know somebody's interested in comic books, send this to them, and you know, I have until next Monday, so almost 7 days to raise a little bit more than $600, $700, something like that. So I'm a little bit more than halfway. I wish I was already over the line, over the limit at this point, but you know.
Yeah. Do you find it hard getting, I don't know, getting visibility on the Kickstarter, or, you know?
I don't know if it's Kickstarter per se, but, like, you know, all this is like anything that's like social media driven, like, it's purposely convoluted to make it difficult. I know Kickstarter has an algorithm. I know there's an affordability crisis, and people don't have as much money as they used to. So the idea of, like, buying a comic book may not be the most appealing right now. If you can, I appreciate it. If you can't, that's okay too. I also know that G.I. Joe just made $2.1 million on the same platform. So, you know, like, somebody's buying something somewhere. You know.
No, I get it. And that's why, you know, over at Comic Watch, we try to spotlight those projects that, you know, probably aren't getting the Image Comic, you know, draw.
No, I appreciate it. You know, I do. Like, there are people out there that want to give independent people like me a try. Like, I appreciate them, and I appreciate anybody that, like, is willing to help me promote my work and show things off. I do think this is a good book. Like, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. I'm proud of the work I've done. So.
Well, do you want to give one final pitch for the campaign and where people can find more from you?
Sure. It's on Kickstarter. If you type in my name, Shane Moore, or my name is Lady, you'll find it. One of my favorite ways is to just type in my first name, Shane, and see, like, if I'm the most popular Shane, you know. And it was close enough, within a couple, that I could find it. If you are interested in seeing more of my work, my website is electromagneticpress.com. I have everything that it has gone through Kickstarter already is on sale there and available. If you are on Instagram, I'm on as EMP Comics. TikTok, I think, is EMP Comics NY. Facebook is electromagneticpress.com or just Electromagnetic Press. Yeah, so check it out.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for taking your time this evening to chat and catch up. And like I said, we'll continue. As long as the campaign is running, we'll to follow it over on Comic Watch, and I'll make sure I get this video to you, in time so you can hopefully, get it up and use it to help get more eyes on your project.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, let's stay in touch, and I know we should both find out if they're doing the Electric City show. And
I think there will be,
but yeah. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks for having me.